Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'll be talking about persons with significant control. Who is a person with significant control? This is an individual who is also known as a beneficial owner who has significant or ultimate control in the company. So, if a person has or owns either directly or indirectly at least 5% of interest or shares in that company, that person qualifies as a PSC. Also, if that person has voting rights to either appoint or remove majority of directors in that company, that person qualifies as a PSC. Also, I mentioned that if this person has significant control or influence over the company, that person qualifies as a PSC. So for instance, if you have two shareholders with one having 90% of shares in that company, and then the other person has 10% of shares in that company, these persons qualify as PSC because they either own directly or indirectly at least 5%. So you know that 90% is above 5% and 10% is above 5%. So the qualification here is that they should have at least 5% of shares or own at least 5% of shares in that company to qualify as a PSC. And also, let me give you another example. So let's say we have two shareholders, one having 90% of shares or owning 90% of shares in that company, and then the other person has the right to, the voting right to either appoint or remove majority of directors in that company, or simply has significant control over that company. These persons still qualify as PSCs. So now that you've understood it to this point, let's now talk about the entities that are responsible, have the responsibility of filing information regarding PSC. So the first on the list is companies registered under Part B of the Companies and Allied Matters Act. So we have the private limited liability company by shares. We also have public limited liability company by shares, and the other companies that are listed under Part B. And also we have the limited liability partnership under Part C of the Companies and Allied Matters Act. This is to say that entities that are exempted from providing information regarding PSC are incorporated trustees and limited partnership. This is to say that these entities, they don't have persons exercising massive control or ultimate control over the company, because some of these entities, like the NGO for instance, is just a collective effort of individuals who come together, share the same goals or common goals to pool resources together in order to promote their objectives. So they are not necessarily forming the entity in order to make profits. So now that you know these entities, let's now talk about the reason. So why do you need to disclose information regarding your PSC? You may say, okay, I just own a small company, it's just me and my partner, why do I need to? It's important because it's a legal requirement, first of all, and also it will help the commission to tackle issues of money laundering, terrorism financing, and tax evasion. And most importantly, it is also to disclose the real persons managing your company or owning your company to investors and also to the public. So it will also help investors and public to know the real persons behind the company. So that is to say that as a company, you have the responsibility to identify your PSCs, maintain a register of PSCs, and also file the necessary information regarding them or any changes regarding PSCs in your company. So at what point do you have to file information or submit the information regarding your PSC to the commission? So at the point where you want to incorporate your company, you will be required to fill information or file this information with the commission, and also at the point of filing annual returns. So the commission will require you to file information regarding your PSC. Even if there are no changes to the information, you may be required to file the information again on the portal. So another instance could be at the point of any change or amendments. So let's say, for instance, a PSC resigns or chooses to opt out of the company, or death, by reason of death, the person is no longer in existence. You will be required to file a notice of cessation or a notice of change with the commission within a stipulated date, and which is usually about 7 days, or 7 to 14 days. You will be required to file this information. And bear in mind that failure to file or or disclose information regarding your PSC comes with an administrative penalty, which is prescribed by the commission. So for a private limited company, if you fail to disclose any change or information regarding your PSC, you are liable to pay a fine of 10,000 naira for small companies, and for public companies 25,000 naira, for limited liability companies 5,000 naira. And this payment varies depending on what CAC prescribes. So now that you know, as a company, if you're setting up a company in Nigeria or managing a company in Nigeria, it is important that you comply with the provisions of the commission with regards to disclosing information regarding PSC or filing changes of information of PSC with the commission, bearing in mind that this comes with a penalty if you fail to comply. So now that we've talked about this, there are instances where the commission will not approve your application if you fail to disclose information, if you fail to file information regarding PSC. So at the point of registration and also at the point of filing annual returns, the commission has the right to reject your application and then direct you to provide information regarding the PSC. That is how sensitive this issue is. So it's very important. The compliance issue is something you need to comply with because it's a provision and the statutory provision at that. So now that you know all of this, as a company, you're setting up a company in Nigeria, please ensure that you provide the necessary details regarding your PSC to avoid penalties and any other sanctions that may be meted out on you as a company and even to your officers or directors. So if you enjoyed this video, please like this video, share it with your contacts, subscribe to our channel. If you have any information or reviews on this video, please leave them in the comment section and we will definitely respond to you. Until next time, please stay tuned for the next video on business compliance or legal compliance. Until I come your way next time. Bye.